Hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Happy Life show tonight. I'm sure you all enjoyed a lot of happiness last weekend and the Thanksgiving, getting together with family and friends, a lot of great food. How can we all unhappy when we have such a beautiful event during the holiday season? And we're all excited about the happy holidays coming, the Christmas, the Happy New Year's, a lot of inspiration, and I wish you all will continue to have a very, very happy holidays coming. Today we are talking about a topic. It's going to be very interesting because in the last few days I received several phone calls from my readers of Happy Life. Interestingly, they asked me not how to become more happy, but how to overcome snoring problems as well as sleep apnea problems that either themselves or their family member were experiencing in the last few years. Because this is one of the story was in my book. The title of that is called Thick Chin and Short Neck. Well, my chin is not as thick as it used to be several years ago, but for many years I have a very thick chin. And actually, my name is Thick Chin. No surprise, right? That's what my T.S. chin stand for. The T is thick, T-H-I-C-K. So thick chin and a thick chin. Well, there's a little bit more to it. When I had these snoring problems several years ago, probably about 8 years ago, it was very embarrassing. My wife woke me up in the middle of the night and made sure that I was able to breathe because I was stopping breathing in the middle of the night many, many times. She was very concerned. So she asked me, why don't you go to see a doctor, a specialist, and find out what's going on? Well, and I did. I went to see a specialist, and they found out that I had sleep apnea. It's more than just snoring problem. And I was very concerned about that. So I went through the tests, treatments, and all that. And finally, the doctor decided to give me a machine to use. So he's able to help me to breathe while I was sleeping at night. That was a great idea. Well, the cost may be several $1,000s, but the inconvenience of it is more hard to overcome. Because while you're sleeping, you apply a mask and having the oxygen continue flowing through the machine, through the tube, and go into either your nose or whatever. And it is kind of inconvenience and sometimes it's painful. And it did not help me at all. The reason being, the machine is able to help a lot of people when the airflow comes in a rating of 1 to 20, was 5, 6, or 7, then their breathing channel was able to open up. But it took 16. The number 16 is pretty significant before my breathing channel was able to open up. So when you can imagine at night while you're sleeping, when those airflow coming through strongly, just like a machine, I mean it's a machine of course, but just like a blower, when you blow your hair, that kind of air strength, while you can concentrate into a very small tube. And you can imagine how difficult it is for someone like myself to experience and keep sleeping. And matter of fact, it woke me up more often than my sleep apnea. And I went back to talk to the doctors, and they said, well, you can go through the surgery, but because you have short neck. Oh yes, short neck. Now I know I have a thick chin and a short neck. He said, the chance of get well is less than 50% with the surgery. I was very, very fearful. But I had to live with that. During the daytime, most of the time that I was working, but my eyes were kept closing. When I was driving, I had a similar problem because I was not able to have a good sleep at night due to my sleep disorder. And I think a lot of people had a similar experiences like I did. And when I wrote the book of Happy Life, it's in the section of calling help ourselves by helping others. And sometimes we need to help ourselves too. So when I found out that I had difficulty to continue to be healthy with that sleep apnea problem hanging on my shoulder, matter of fact, my neck as well, I want to overcome it. And since the medical team was not able to help me, but so far, and I have to think a way of how I can help myself. And let me tell you how bad it was. And that's not kidding. I'm sure my wife is watching at home right now, and she can tell you it was not only interesting, but it's kind of what's a better word to say? Embarrassing. When I was, riding in an airplane and traveling around, buses or sleeping in a hotel lobby, whatever, fell asleep, snoring, and woke up everybody else. When I went to China during one of those years, and in the airplane, my wife kept waking me up because everybody is like a 20 hours ride on an airplane, and I kept snoring, while I was in the flight. It was kind of embarrassing, and it's not convenient, and I feel so sorry for the one that they were around me. But I was snoring so loud that 100 feet away still heard about my snoring. So I tried to keep myself awoke, and that was not fun. And so I want to share that experience with you, and I want you to try my method. If it helps you, fantastic. If it doesn't, you know what? It does not cost you a dime. The process is very, very simple. And when I was writing the book of Happy Life, I want to write that my little, exercise or whatever you call recipes. And but somebody told me that it's kind of gross. You don't talk about those kind of things in a book, do you? I said, well, this is about happy life. Maybe I don't need to tell other people about it. But I did write a story about this. And I want to read that story to you so that you can follow up with what I just try to explain to you. The title of the chapter is called Thick Chin, Short Neck. My giving name in English is Thick Chin. When I was in high school, some of my friends did not call me thick. Instead, they called me, hello, Thick Chin. And you know what? The entire class was laughing so loud. So I told my friends, please just call me Chin. Just make it simple. Instead of call me Thick Chin, just call me Chin. But little did I know, I do have a thick chin. A few years later, a few years ago, I had a snoring problem. It would wake up my wife and children at night. It was that bad. It would wake up my wife and my children next room at night. That was that bad. My family was very concerned about my health. So they encouraged me to go to a sleep clinic to get a checkup. I was diagnosed with sleep apnea. The doctor told me that I stopped breathing several hundred times each night. Maybe just per minute, per hour, many, many times, thousands of times. I just forgotten. It was a very scary number. and they tried to give me an oxygen mask to assist my breathing. But it did not solve the problem. And additional tests and treatments were performed without success. And my symptoms only got worse. My wife and I began to worry. Ultimately, I concluded that I had a thick chin and a short neck. That's what my doctor told me. I had to find a solution to help myself. So I started doing some stretching and some neck exercises. At least 3 times a day, I just try to do something for myself. I did not know that was going to work or not, but without trying, how do I know? So I came up with a very simple exercise, and I'm going to share that with you in just a very short moment. And by doing it, I try to help the oxygen pass through my breathing channel. As it turned out, it worked. It worked for me, it worked for many other people, and many of my readers, when they call me, email me, and told me about their problem and want to find out how I was able to help myself, I share those stories with them, and 9 out of 10 come back and give me a big, big hug and told me that it works for them and works for their wife or husband, sister, and brother. And that's why I want to make a point to share these little simple exercises with you tonight. My breathing problem has improved tremendously. I don't need to use a mask. I only sleep maybe 5-6 hours right now due to my work schedule each night, but I have a lot of energy. I am thick chin with a short neck, but now my chin is getting thinner, but my neck is still the same shortness. But now I don't have the sleep apnea problem. I may have a little bit more snoring problem, but that's normal. Okay, it's normal for a lot of people. So I was lucky to figure out the solution to my own problem. Even if others are trying to help you, you must continue to try to help yourself. So the doctor tried to help me, my wife tried to help me, but I need to help myself as well. If you do not want to help yourself, no one else can help you. We have to